On our journey across the South Pacific, we left the dock in Western Samoa, joined by our new crew member, Hannah. We set off for an overnight sail to our first stop in Tonga, where we were greeted with warm smiles and friendly locals. We spent a couple days exploring the small island of Nuataputapu before it was time to set sail once again. After 3 days anchored off this remote, northernmost island of Tonga, it was sadly time for us to move on. The Kingdom of Tonga contains 171 islands and is divided into 4 main groups: the Nuas, Vava'u, Ha'apai, and Tongatapu. Tomorrow morning, we would set sail for the Vava'u group, about 200 nautical miles south of our current location. So we're just gonna kind of take you through the steps of what we do to get the boat ready when we sail. Hannah this morning patched our mainsail. We had a rip in it, so a batten pocket had ripped out, so she patched that. Gary's been working on our next video. It's really tough for us to edit videos when we're sailing. So since this will be another overnight sail, we're trying to get that done so we can put that out this weekend. And Hannah is now downstairs making passage food while I file our float plan. Basically, the float plan gives our emergency contact information. It tells us the safety, tells them the safety gear we have on board, how many people we are, our passport information, all kinds of stuff like that, the route that we're planning. So I'm typing up that and I'll shoot that to Matt and Deborah, our 2 emergency contacts. And then we're gonna run into town and hopefully meet the customs officer, because here in Tonga, you need an inter-island clearance to move between the islands. So we need to get that. Then we'll come back, we'll hoist our dinghy and try to have an early night so that we can leave tomorrow at first light. I think that's everything for now anyway, but we'll try to film it as we go.
Lee cloth testing.
Well, let's maybe a sheet, maybe, because if there's a pillow sticking out.
Yeah.
That's
Let's give you a pillow.
I'll just put tomorrow's data.
Okay.
And it's okay if you leave to decide to leave later.
With our inter-island clearance paperwork in hand, we hoisted our dinghy at sunset and went to bed early.
What do you think in a double reef, Gary?
Yeah.
With our mainsail hoisted, we pulled the anchor and began carefully motoring between the coral and out the pass. Once outside the protection of the reef, we were instantly greeted by waves breaking into our bow. With the wind over 20 knots, we decided to roll out our staysail.
The bad news is we're pointing towards where we need to go.
Okay.
The good news is we're pointing towards where we need to go.
No. Yeah, that's the bad news and the bad news, you mean.
We try to avoid upwind sailing, as the beating of waves into the front of the boat makes for unpleasant sailing. But with southeast trade winds the norm here, we took the best window we were going to get.
And you're going to take this one, you're going to undo the cleat. I'm going to just sit by you in case there's any problems. You're just going to be like, so undo the cleat now? Undo the cleat and you're going to wrap it around that little winch there.
Okay, so now you're going to ease that out.
So Gary's going to pull, and then you're just going to ease it out.
How about there? Just ease it out. This way and this way. Just get your fingers in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Twist that other way. Twist this one this way, and then I'll lock.
Right. Now you just say that you're easing.
Easing.
And Gary might tell you to take another wrap off.
Just keep easing. Keep easing more and more and more. Let it go. You can take the wrap off because there's probably no pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in. It's too far. Hannah, pull yours a little bit. Yep, perfect. That's good. And then you can block it off.
Like this?
Yep. Okay.
With the reef Genoa instead of the staysail, we picked up a bit of speed. As the sun went down for the night, we settled in for a rough night of bashing of wind. We are currently underway from Nua Tapu Tapu to Vava'u in Tonga, and it's a 160-mile journey. But as soon as we got out from the anchorage, we started bashing into the swell and the waves, and it really hasn't stopped. So right now we just have our staysail out, and we're barely making progress into it now. We're averaging between 3 and 4 knots. Yeah, so not great sailing conditions, especially for Hannah, we're just, it's her first time sailing really, and so far she's had 2 really not so great sails. But she's being a trooper. Just pretty uncomfortable out here. It's hard to move around the boat or do much. So we've kind of just been like sleeping and rotating on our watch schedule, and that's about it. But right now we have about 20 knots of wind and about 2.5 meter seas, and One Life is just pounding into it. Downstairs it sounds pretty scary sometimes when the bow just dips into the water like that. We've had multiple waves just come up over our Dodger, and yeah, definitely not a good introduction to sailing for Hannah. But we're just going to continue on like this, and we hope to arrive in Vava'u in the morning. While we might not enjoy beating up wind, One Life doesn't mind it one bit. She seems to effortlessly part whatever waves are thrown at her and just keeps chugging along. When the wind is up over 20 knots, we prefer to sail with the staysail and reefed main. Compared to the Genoa, this brings the exposed sail area down and closer to the mast, making the boat far more stable and comfortable. All we need to do is sit back and hold on tight. What do you think about this?
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough, but I'm doing a lot better than the last one. So I think I'm enjoying this more.
Yeah.
And I understand the charts a lot better and the gauges, so keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
But I'm doing okay, I think. It's not too bad. I've got my own wee snuggle pit down there, so I've been sleeping better as well, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah.
Does it look like the YouTube videos?
This definitely looks worse. The camera never does it justice.
Yeah, the camera never does it justice.
No.
We've been trying to get these waves on camera, and I always have the camera on at the wrong time.
I don't know, if I sit here without holding on, then I can try and show you how rocky it is, but I don't want to fall out the side.
Yeah, number 1 rule, stay in the boat.
Yeah.
A leaking hatch over where Gary and I sleep at sea did little to improve our comfort. When trying to sleep, if the waves don't keep you awake, a splash of seawater definitely will. But a hot dinner kept us all in good spirits as we prepared for our second night at sea. One of the most magical sights you can ever experience at sea is the first appearance of land in the morning as the sunlight just begins to crest over the horizon. I was just wondering how your passage has been.
It's been a wonderful passage. It's probably the best one we've ever had.
Sense a little sarcasm there.
Bashing into 20 knots of open ocean is never fun, so we try not to do that, but we've got to keep moving south, so it is what it is, and there's no better weather window for the next week. So we're here now, though, and the sunrise over Vavo looks stunning.
It's common here now behind the island, huh?
Yeah, we're just tacking our way in, waiting for the sun to come up a little more to really make our way into where it gets narrow.
Do you think we should wake Hannah up for her land ho?
I think we should wake her up. Well, she's supposed to be up in 30 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
But I bet she'd like to see the sunrise.
I think she's earned it. Hannah, you should come see it. We made land ho.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you only have 20 more minutes of sleep, so I figured it was okay to wake you up. Yeah. I feel like you earned seeing this.
Yeah. Turn off my alarm so we're heeled over the wrong way.
It's so confusing.
It's like we're rolling the opposite way in my bed.
Attack for like 40 hours.
Oh, it's late.
There are moments in the sailing life where everything feels right with the world. You're exactly where you want to be, doing exactly what you want to be doing. Sharing this moment with Hannah made this morning's landfall a little more special. In Polynesian tradition, it is said that the god Maui reached into the bottom of the sea with his magic hook, caught something on it, and pulled it up to the sea surface, creating the islands of Vava'u. We tacked our way through the passages of green cliffs towards the largest main islands of the 41 total islands that make up this archipelago. Vava'u is home to around 14,000 Tongans, whose main sources of income are tourism, fishing, and agriculture, including pearl farming. Humpback whales visit the waters surrounding these islands from May to October, and we were hopeful that we'd get the chance to spot a few. As the sun crests over the islands to our east, it was time to roll away our genoa and furl down our mainsail. We fired up the engine and motored our way in the final channel leading to the anchorage, leaving room for the local supply ship to pass on their way out.
Get it in there.
I'm trying. Ah, there we go. Got it.
Gary showed Hannah how to pick up and tie off to a mooring ball, and then it was time for a big breakfast enjoyed in the protection of the flat waters of this natural harbor.
Would you guys like a cup of tea?
Okay.
We caught up with our good friend Max on board his boat Elixir, making this the 7th country that we have met up in. And we made new friends as we piled as many people as we could into his cockpit to drink tea and watch the sun go down. This morning we came to shore here in Vava'u, and we're taking our trash and our laundry to town and also going to customs, because here in Tonga, every new island group you go to, you have to check in. So we're gonna do that this morning. Hannah's back on the boat. It's a rainy day right now, so I think we're gonna get our chores done here in town and then hopefully go to another anchorage this afternoon. Super happy to be here, and I don't think we're gonna stay too long because there's a lot of little anchorages around and we want to check them all out. There's supposed to be a lot of good free diving and some nice beaches, so I don't think we'll stick in town too long. So many cookies, Gary.
The store is packed. You can't even walk around the aisles.
Oh, good boy. Max said it's in like a garage. Do we pay you for the mooring bowl?
Yeah, you can pay each.
I just left Gary at the customs office because it's Monday and it's like 9 a.m. But apparently they have a meeting every morning. So he has to wait for the meeting to be over before we can check out. So I'm gonna run over here to the little veggie market and grab some lettuce and maybe some tomatoes and wait for him. It's really interesting because it's always like you never know what you're gonna get, which also makes it part of the adventure. Back on board One Life, we enjoyed lunch with fresh produce from the market and discussed our plans for the coming days. Together, we looked at the weather forecast and taught Hannah about how we use the forecast models to shape our plans and pick which anchorages we should go to. We were hoping to score some fresh bread and have another stretch of our sea legs, so we headed back into town to search for a bakery that afternoon. Oh, my fave.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells like bread. Ooh, look at that.
Craving bread.
We need bread. Yeah.
This is yesterday's bread.
Oh.
That might be good for bruschetta.
Huh? Oh. Nifu is the capital of Vava'u, but it is a small, quiet town with a peaceful charm. Good morning. So yesterday we went into town to see Vava'u. It's a small town. There's not too much going on there, but it's always nice to see someplace new. And today we're gonna head to another anchorage. It's just a short few mile sail. But since it's in here in this protected area, it's going to be a really great first day sail for Hannah since her sails have been offshore and pretty hectic. So we're actually going to be able to teach her a little bit about sailing. So we thought that you guys might want to come along for that and come sail One Life with us. Are you ready to sail in some flat water?
I hope so. Yeah, definitely.
I think Gary said we're just going to sail off the mooring.
Nice. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we got this.
So we need to make sure our chart plotter is on, our instruments, so that's like our wind instruments, our autopilot, our VHF, which is also our AIS. For this, it's sunny out, daylight, so we don't need to turn on the radar. And then this is just our typical power outlets. And then over here, we're gonna shut off our water, just in case there's a leak, we won't hear it.
So
Yep.
need to be on.
And we can shut off the lights.
Just flip the mooring lines, and then
the boat will get blown backwards and we'll just steer it to face out. And then once we're facing out, we'll roll out the head sail.
So when we go, what way do we want to turn around? Do I want to turn it this way?
Wind's gonna blow the boat sideways, and then we'll just have to turn the wheel a little bit to like get pointed in generally the right direction.
Okay.
It should be fine because the wind's just blowing us back to the open.
And since it's only a few miles, we'll only sail with the head sail. We won't bother putting up the main because it would take us
Oh yeah.
It's more time to
more
uncover the
time
main and
to
everything else, so
untie
it'll make a
it.
difference
And,
for it.
yeah. So.
So the mooring lines, I'm just gonna untie the one side and then let it go out, and then it'll slip through the little loop. And I'll just pull it in, right? So I'll just do both of those. So I'm gonna go do that now.
Lines are off. Okay.
Oh gosh.
So we're just getting blown out. And should I tie up the dinghy? Yeah. So the bow's just gonna come around.
You remember how I told you if our mooring line broke, how the boat would turn sideways almost
Yeah.
immediately, and we'd feel the difference?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Okay.
what happens basically.
Yeah.
So, you know how this works. We've done this. So you're gonna pull that one. I'm gonna control the line. So we're gonna pull it out on the port side because the wind's coming from the starboard side. And then we'll pull it out on the port side and it'll push us that way.
Okay. And then once it starts coming out, I wrap around. Do you do 3 wraps?
Yeah,
And
clockwise.
then-
So,
Oh, that's, I was thinking that was the wrong way. Okay. 3 wraps around and then up and through and then start.
Winching.
Yep. Okay.
Go
You
ahead.
guys ready?
Yeah, we better go.
How much?
Keep going.
All of it?
Yeah, we gotta bring the whole thing out. It's only 12 knots in.
Oh, do I should wrap
Oh,
around?
you should have got a wrap, yes.
Yeah.
Can you get a wrap now? So, careful here because there's a lot of load under it. So remember, pinkies away.
Pinkies
And
away.
then like this.
Around. Okay.
Good.
Just 1 wrap?
Do 3 wraps on and winch it on. Put it in the put it in the thing first. Yep. And that will hold
Right, that hold it.
There you go.
Right. Okay.
Because the wind's almost right behind us, so steer to starboard a little more. See how the wind's like almost going to the other side? So basically the wind's coming from like behind us, right? So okay, straighten that back out. So we want to keep the wind just off to that side behind us because the sail's on this side. And if you let the wind come around, it'll collapse the sail and like just push it against the rig, and that's a jibe basically.
Yeah, which we don't want to do.
Don't want to do. But, and then we will have to jibe to turn to port, right? Because we can't turn anymore to port without the wind coming to the other side. Going downward. Pretty much off there. I think hand steering is probably a good way to learn how everything works.
Yeah.
But it's best to hand steer when we're not sailing in 20 knots offshore. Roll in the sail.
Yeah.
Jibe, turn through the wind, and then pull it back out on the other side.
Okay.
So for now, you just have to hold as good of a course as you can downwind without jibing, right?
Okay. So what I'm getting confused at is the direction of the wind and what way I need to turn to fill the sail.
Right, the wind's coming from over there, so if you turn to port, the wind's going to be coming more up on the front of the boat. And if you turn to starboard, the wind's going to be going that way.
That way, okay.
So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to wrap your head around at first.
Well, okay, so keep
if I need
keep
to
it.
fill the sail, I turn towards the sail. If I am worried that the sail's gonna collapse, I turn towards
the wind.
Towards the wind. Okay, so this is your wind, right?
Yeah.
So you would turn towards the wind, right, to make it keep the sail full.
Okay.
Which would be called turning up.
Turning up into the
Falling
wind.
off would be like going more that way.
That way.
And like rounding up would be more going more that way. Okay, so you can start turning to port a little and we'll round this buoy. And because the wind's coming from this side, it'll actually help, right? It'll bring the wind more on the side. So now you can point at the red one.
Yeah.
And we might have to turn the sail a little because the more the wind comes up in front of us, the tighter we pull this sheet.
It was only a few years ago that we knew nothing about sailing, so it's fun to be able to share our newfound knowledge with Hannah, who has been eager and motivated to learn.
So basically what you want to do is point as much upwind as you can to where you still feel the sail powered up.
Power up. Okay. Actually, they are going on this side. I don't know. Do you want?
We'll just sail around it.
Yeah.
Did you look at the chart, Scary? Because
Yeah.
They're off. Yep, so when that happens, big gust comes, you want to like bear off because it's going to grab the sail and
Okay, so hold on.
bear off.
So this is a good example of like not being balanced,
Yeah.
right? So basically what happens now is when the wind hits it, the boat just wants to round right up, and it's because we have no main up, partly, and just because we have too much head sail up, and it's 23 knots, so bear off.
Bear off that way.
That way.
Bear off more.
Alright, hold it straight it out. And that's why I just like jumped the sheet out. I just started releasing the sheet because
It depowers it immediately.
so now we're just motoring, so you can put it in gear.
Okay.
Make sure you're in. Yep.
Slow. Stop.
Stop.
And off.
Yeah. Woohoo! Nice one. How was that sail? A little better than our last couple. Huh?
Yeah. No, it was good. It was
Wow.
good. I think I'm getting the steering more. I don't need to need to crank the wheel so much. So
Yeah, you did really well steering.
yeah.
Thanks for coming sailing with us. We hope to see you next time as we continue our journey exploring the remote islands of the South Pacific.